Hey everyone, it's Alan Brochstein from 420 Investor and New Cannabis Ventures, here with your weekly update on the cannabis sector. And again, I'm in the process of moving from Benzinga to Seeking Alpha, and I will provide an update when I can. For now, you can follow me at Seeking Alpha, where I have started to contribute publishing articles again. I started doing that in 2007, so it's been almost 15 years. And the purpose of this is to provide an update to people who are not subscribers of mine at 420 Investor, and also to give people a little bit more information if they read New Cannabis Ventures, where we don't really share a lot of information beyond press releases or data reports. And so this week was a terrible week for cannabis stocks, and I'm not going to smile about it. I'm not happy, but I am kind of happy because it fits into what I think is a great buying opportunity. I've been talking about that a lot publicly and privately at 420 Investor, and when I spent this morning many hours reviewing, I came to the conclusion that we're seeing a reverse head and shoulders in a lot of important stocks, potentially. I can't promise. It kind of fits in with my view, though, that 2023 will be a lot better than 2022. And that's not saying much. 2022 was terrible, but I think it's going to actually be a good year, and more on that for my subscribers. So this week, the big information that came out that I think crushed the market was safe banking was excluded from the NDAA. And I think that surprised some people. And, you know, we ran up a lot recently, and it was hard to tell exactly what was going on. And there was, President Biden signed into law a cannabis research legal, bill, I guess. Cannabis research bill. And I thought that that was it, but I also heard that people were getting pumped up about safe banking. And I'm not going to spend time today telling you why, but I will tell you I don't care about safe banking. And I'm not the only one. And so I think people were worked up way up. And I think that they weren't right necessarily. And so the news that came out this week was kind of a surprise. And it's dead, it looks like. And some people are saying, oh, it's not dead, it's delayed. Well, I don't care, dead or delayed or happening. The world isn't going to change much. But anyway, we also got from the state of Connecticut, not a big state, but one that's going legal, that they're going to start adult use sales in a month, in January. Looking at what I did at 420 Investor this week, I published 3 weekly reviews yesterday. Well, I say weekly reviews. They have different names. I published what's literally the weekly review. And so in this report, I linked to a file that is the report that I wrote for this week. And you can see in that report, I talk about what I published during the week, but the week ended, at the trading close on Friday. So from that week, I had the 3 Friday reports that were published on December 2nd, the Investor Weekly Review, and a model portfolio composition, which is private. And then the cannabis subsector review, which is a chart package. It's also private for 420 Investor members. And then I wrote the first of 3 articles that will appear in the January edition of the monthly 420 Investor newsletter. And that was called An Investing Disaster I Avoided. Again, that's behind a paywall. The investing disaster was Agrify, but I wrote about how I didn't ever fall for that. And then I also wrote from an article called MSOs and MSOS are hammered. And that was just for subscribers. And then for you, I published, and for you, the public, I published an article on Seeking Alpha. It wasn't, it was on my blog. It wasn't on the big Seeking Alpha because the market cap is below 25 million. And Seeking Alpha, who I love, by the way, has a rule that if the stock has a less than 25 million market cap, you can't write about it. And so I published it to my blog, and the article is about CEA Industries, and the title was "This Low-Priced Cannabis Stock is Very Cheap." So you'll get a flavor for how I look at things. And unfortunately, CEA, as cheap as it is, I can tell you a lot of other ones that are cheap too. But I think if you read this, you'll agree and understand. Maybe you'll point out a risk that I'm unaware of, but it's trading below tangible book value significantly with not a big cash burn, and most of that tangible book value, actually all of it, is cash. So I also shared with 420 Investor members this week some news on the focus list names. I have 31 names, and I think 8 of them, maybe 9, put out news this week. So let me quickly go through that. Aurora repurchased some stock at a slight discount, and they raised money at a much higher price in the spring, and they're redeploying it. And I think that's good long term, but because having a lot of debt and a lot of cash is not a great thing. And getting rid of the debt, but you get rid of cash too, looks better. And so that was that. Columbia Care opened their 6th Virginia medical cannabis dispensary. Cresco, who's merging with them, opened their 21st Florida medical cannabis dispensary. Goodness Growth named Josh Rosen, who's a friend of mine, as president, interim basis. And they also announced after the close on Friday that their COO departed. Green Lane named a new CFO. There had been an 8K about their old CFO leaving, but they named a new CFO. Her name is Lana Reeve, and she comes from a public company. Jushi finally priced what they had been talking about, an $89 million, 12% debt with warrants. And then the stock tumbled right after that. That was used to refinance 10% debt, which that doesn't sound good, does it? Planet 13 announced that it was approved for something they've been talking about a long time, a consumption lounge at their facility in Las Vegas. Trulieve launched the Khalifa Kush cannabis product in both Pennsylvania and Maryland. Tilray launched Peppermint Fatty 510 vape in Canada. Woo! I don't want to tell you what I really think about Tilray, but... All right, and then TerrAscend, this was a huge deal. TerrAscend announced that Canopy Growth, who had a lot of debt issued to TerrAscend, was converting it at 2 times the current price. It was a win for TerrAscend, and I think it doesn't. I'm not going to get into it, but I think it was good news. That's what I told my subscribers, but I told them more about it today. So I think that was the important news during the week. The market was crushed. It fell. It fell a lot. It fell 17.7%, which it felt like September. Remember September? We fell, like 30%, and I think it felt like September again. I'm not going to say that it is. I don't think it is, but I'm not going to tell you it's not either. So the index was slammed. It's still above the all-time closing low on September 30th, and it's up quarter to date by 8.2%, which is good, right? And the S&P 500 is up 9.7%. So it's not as good as stocks in general, but considering we were just crushed, that's not so bad either. And year to date, the index is down about 63%, which is just insane if you ask me. So I run some model portfolios at 420 Investor, and There's three of them, and for the Flying High, which is a swing trading model portfolio, was down 13.8%. It was fully invested, so that was better than the market decline, but it's not trying to beat the market. It's trying to make money. So it was not a great week. It's been not a great year either. It's down year to date by 46.3%, which is a lot less. It's been fully invested, but it's down a lot less than the overall market. I'm not happy with that absolute number, and it's not measured relative to anything but cash. So not a great year. Now, 420 Opportunity and 420 Quality are both measured against the new Cannabis Ventures Global Cannabis Stock Index, which has 28 names in it currently, and they all have minimum prices and minimum liquidity. And as I just mentioned, that index is down 63% per year, and both of my model portfolios are doing better, but not that great, down 58% roughly. And so 5 points, it's not something that excites me. I mean, it's better than losing to it, but this week they both did better, and it seems like they've been getting beaten badly. I can explain why. I like ancillary, and ancillary is just not catching on yet. But this week, 420 Opportunity fell 16%, and 420 Quality fell 16.1%. They're both up quarter to date, but a little bit less than the index. So they're beating the index year to date, losing a little bit quarter to date. And finally, to wrap this up, I'd like to share the calendar. You know, we're heading into the end of the year, and so people are on vacation and all that, but we do have two earnings reports this week, Fire and Flower on Tuesday morning, and InWave, which they're more than just the cannabis industry, but they're on Friday morning during trading hours. So that's really it. Y'all have a great week. Take care.